is playing out for the Hurricane. He comes into this fight with a very impressive 6 straight. Oh, he hurt him with that hook. Well, it looked like he was.
UFC Undisputed 3 is a cross between a technical sports title and a fighting game. The fighting elements are massively technical, focusing on the subtle power plays that happen during MMA bouts. At the same time, the fighting is still as fun, if not as fast, as a good Tekken or Street Fighter. What sets UFC aside from a traditional beat-em-up is the lack of a narrative. While fighting games like Tekken or Street Fighter create a contrived backstory for the various characters, UFC focuses on creating your own fighter and following his career, or recreating a real-life fighter's career.
And the Hurricane!
The character creator is by far the most interesting thing going on here for me. You can create a fighter to look largely how you want, but if like me and you tried to recreate yourself, albeit in better shape, then you will find the options restrictive. There are only so many eye shapes and hair options, and the parameters for facial reconstruction never let you take the settings to extremes. The look of your fighter isn't what makes the character creator great, however, it is the ability to completely customise your fighter's style and moveset. You start off by choosing a base style. This determines your default stance and moves. From there you can customise every move you make, from your punching to your submission moves. Picking your style is only the beginning. From there you can change any techniques you dislike and choose your fighting orientation, such as orthodox or southpaw. Now this is far from limitless. You can only pick from the fighting styles that are commonly seen in the UFC, so you won't be able to make a Wing Chun or Taekwondo fighter or anything like that. You are also restricted to the more effective and legal moves that the UFC fighters use. The flip side to the volume of customizations is that the same control scheme is used for each fighter. There is not going to be any random combos to learn here. Strikes are all mapped to the face buttons and given context by the shoulder buttons, and throws, grappling and locking is all handled by the right analog stick. The system is amazingly deep, filled with contextual movesets and a huge range of counter-offensive options. This may sound like each fighter will play the same, but they won't. Each fighter has a different set of stats that govern how effective they are in each fighting scenario. Some fighters are extremely proficient in jiu-jitsu, so their groundwork stats are very high. This means that submissions are more likely to succeed, and changing position gives you a far greater advantage. The flip side of that is that you will be weak against opponents who are masters of striking styles such as Muay Thai. Their punches and kicks will do more damage, and they are harder to knock out.
Rear naked choke. Submission victory.
Outside of the ring, there are various training minigames and sparring scenarios that upon completing level up your characters. Training increases your chances of winning the next fight, which is after all the aim of the game. Winning fights earns you cred, which is the currency in the game. Cred can be used to buy sponsorship items, which increase the amount of cred you earn from a fight, and training camps, where you can learn new moves and level up existing techniques. Graphically, UFC 3 is certainly not ugly, but lacks any truly pretty visuals. Lighting effects are not very realistic, and the environments are as you would expect, enclosed and dark. The fighters look pretty good, though they lack any expression. Their bodies seem to be chiselled out of stone rather than fleshy and living. Adding injuries throughout the rounds is a nice touch, and gives an indication of how you are faring in the trading of blows, but it would be good if there was spraying sweat and spit as these hulks destroyed each other. The music in UFC 3 is what can only be described as OTT. If it isn't pounding guitar riffs, it's epic horn lines. It is certainly true to the type of music these guys roll out to, but it can be a bit overbearing, especially when using menus for a long time. The other OTT element is the enthusiastic commentators. It is one of those elements that would be weird to remove, but can grate after a while, especially when going through the early tutorial heavy sections of the game.
He got rocked, but man, he snapped back quick.
All in all, UFC Undisputed 3 has a huge amount to offer. The career mode is expansive, the title mode lets you further develop your fighter, and exhibition mode gives you an instant fix. There is a huge roster of fighters available to play with in each weight class, so you can play with your favourite or whoever you like the look of to your heart's content. Along with that is online play and of course local multiplayer, so there is enough to keep you fighting until next year's instalment.
The winner by knockout, Ed the Hurricane!
The Hurricane has won the fight.